Hello guys, welcome back, and in this lesson I'll show you how to use traits together with a feature test. I wanted to make a lesson for unit tests, but I decided just to extend this feature test module and show you how to use traits. And I will not dive in to use unit test because I've checked it out and I don't think it will be that important to you. Once you have learned how to write feature test, 90% of the times you'll be required to write feature test and not unit test. And maybe once in a while you might be required to write unit tests, but they're just the same thing in in a larger scale. Feature tests they're used to test, basically the features of your application. For example, authentication might be a feature test with the login, logout, registration. Product management can be also a feature test with create, edit, view products. So feature test is just a union of many unit tests. So once you have understand how to work with feature test, then you are good to go. And in fact, many a times when you write your feature test, they just comprise basically the unit test that you might want to have. So let us dive in and see how to use traits with our feature test. So currently here, as you can see, of course, for me to test the product management, that is product creation, product deletion, product update, and getting the products, I love to log in with a token. And for now, I'm doing a lot of there is a lot of code that I can recycle here. So what I'm going to do, so I'll go inside the test, I'll go for new, say directory, I'll name this directory traits like this. Then inside this trait, I'm going just for now to say, to create a new file and say this file will be, let's say auth trait .php, like that one. And then inside this file, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to of course it needs to be a PHP, and I'm going to say namespace. Namespace. The namespace, of course, if you check, is test slash traits. I believe so. And then we'll have the trait name itself. Then you'll do something like that. And that is all that you need in this file. So the trait name, of course, need to be auth trait. So that is all that you need in this file. And then I'll go now to my feature test inside the auth, the authentication. I'm going to remove or so for example, this part here for register here, I'm going just to remove this until here. I'm going inside here, I'm going to say create a method here and say public function register, and I'm going to say return. I'll paste this, and then what I'll do is that I'll go inside my authentication. I'll use my trait here by saying use auth trait like this, and here I'll just say this, and I'll say this register, call that method like this, and we are good. So no error there, no error here. Then I'm going also to move my, let's move our login method. So I'll cut this, I'll go inside here, I'll paste this here, and we are good. So if I go back here, no error since we have imported the trait. And then what I'm going to do also is that let me see, is that I can move this login, this with header, since this auth is recycling or it is reusing this login, I can just move this part here. Let me just cut this part here, I'll go here, and inside here I'm going to say public function, you can say login with uh, headers for now. So just say return like this. I'll paste this guy here, and here where we are using auth here, because this is the login guy, so we can just say this. You can say login like this, and then that will be okay. And now if we go, what we need to do is now delete this, and then if we go, let us see, if I go inside here, I need to, of course I need to cut this guy here. I need to cut this guy like this, and on our guy here you can say this, and then call our guy login with headers like this, and then I'll paste our guy there, the one for the post, and that is it. And also what we can also do is that now where we are using our user here, we can also add a method to return a user here and say public function get user. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to reuse some of this method, and I don't want, to duplicate this method. That's why I've moved them here. So get user, that is okay. And so if I go here now, here we can remove this user, and here this will be this, and we now need to get user like this. Why is this doing this? Okay, I need to return get user. All right, like that. So I believe that should be okay. Yeah, and we are good. I think for now we are good to go here. So that is now our method up to that case. And now what I'm going to do is that actually let us just run our test again and see if there is any error. I'll just do a migrate refresh to do everything, to remove everything from the database for now. So I've dropped all the tables. If I run the test now, let's see. So as you can see, our test is running okay, nothing has broken. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create a feature test for product management. So I'm going to say, let's see, PHP artisan, make test, and this is going to be called product management test. Yeah, so that will contain the edit, the delete, the view, and the create for the product. So that is okay. That is inside the feature. I'll go inside here. The first one is to get all products. So I'll say test, say get underscore product like this, and then now of course, for this product, what we need first is we need to have some users in the database, and we also need to have some product, because the product are related to the users. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a factory and say user factory, and I'm going to call count. I'm going to create 10 users, and I'm going to call create very fast like this. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm also going to create the products. If you remember, we had created the factories for this guy, so it will generate using the factory. So we have that. So the next thing that we need now to do, and now this is where now the trades become really handy. So I can just use my trade here and say or trade like this. And then now, in order to log in with with a token, I can simply say this, and I can call our guy, which is login with headers, because remember this login with headers returns the user with the token. It calls the login, or rather logs in. The user gets the token and then passes to the header. So I can simply do that, and then I can say I want to test, using JSON. And here I need this to go to API slash products. All right, like that. And then of course this need to be a response like this. And then of course I need to assert the response here. I need to say response. I need to assert status. Believe status is 200, and I also need to assert the JSON structure. And of course, these are many products, so it needs to be a JSON, the overall JSON or the outer JSON, and then the inwards JSON. So it need to have some of the, it need to follow this structure. The overall JSON, and then the inside JSON needs to have. If you can remember, we had the structure here: ID, product ID. Let me just copy this, go back, product management here, I'll paste this guy here, remove some of these very fast, remove this, remove this, we don't need this, I remove this and this, and then I'll just do like this very fast here, like this, and lastly like that. So that is the structure that we want our JSON to return. So I'm creating the user, I'm creating the factories, I'm creating the users, I'm creating the products, and then I'm logging with the headers, I'm getting the products, I'm asserting the response if it's 200, and then the structure of the response. So let us try and run this and see. So I'll go here. What I'll do now is that let me just migrate fresh to remove everything for now. So let us try to run our test and see. So test like this, and run this test. Let us see. We'll get. So our test runs okay, which means now our product test is okay. And so what I can now do for the get product, which is going to be quite easy, I'm just going to duplicate this guy very fast here. What I'm going to do, this is going to be test get product. This is going to be, since we already will be having products and users in the DB, I don't need to do this. So I can just say, for now, let us just say the product should be equal to product. I'm getting all products here. And then let's just do this for now. This returns an array, and we can concatenate it here and say product will get the first one and we'll get the ID. So remember here we are testing to get one product, so we need to grab the ID. So that is how I'll do it. And then this will not be an array now, this will just be one single array instead. Okay, let me just do this. This looks fine. So this is the beauty of using, the traits. I'm just using this and everything will be good. So I believe that is okay. So let me see. So maybe one more thing we can do is that once we have, we have done all these tests, since this will be the last test to run, we can get the user, and then we can delete our user that we have used to log in, right? Since we don't want to retain that user. Later on, we might be able to see how to delete all the test data so that our database always remain clean after the test. But for now, this should suffice. Let me drop everything first. So now let me run the test and see. I'm getting an error here, and the error is saying that I cannot. Let me see. The error is because what I did, I did a mistake here. This should be slash ID. All right. Let's try to do this again. Let's refresh again. Let us run the test now and see. And now all our test runs okay. And that is it. I figured out this video might be too long, and then so I'll continue in the next video so that we can complete with the test.